Okay, today I'm going to demonstrate how I restring guitars. It's a more complicated process than most people might think. As you can see, this guitar, a lot of filth has accumulated on the fretboard, which is very typical of guitars that needed to be restrung, because as a person plays, the oils from their skins, acids, things like that, transfer on to the wood of the guitar. It can be very damaging to the fingerboard wood of the guitar. So what we're going to have to do is we'll start by loosening the strings. That way there's not so much tension on them when I go to cut them off, which might be dangerous with the string snapping up. Then I just simply destroy the strings because they are useless. They're impregnated with filth. Then I put my hand down in the guitar. I remove the pegs one by one, each individual string. I line up the pegs in order because we want them going back in the same order as they came out. And we remove the part of the string, and then we can remove the rest of the string from this end very easily. Most guitars that come to me come in this condition. A lot of guitar players, when they restring their guitars, they just throw a fresh set of strings over this. And the strings, needless to say, do not last very long. Then at this point, what we need to do is clean the filth off of the fretboard. Now, most guitar shops, they will use a solvent or they will use alcohol, and they will just clean that filth off. The problem with that is that alcohol or a solvent will turn all this filth into a solution, and that solution will impregnate the wood, which doesn't preserve the wood very well. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take some very, very fine 5 or 6/0 steel wool. I have a very large supply of this steel wool, and it's very, very fine. And what I'm going to proceed to do is scrub that filth right off. And as you can see, I start by getting very, very close to the frets, removing that filth off of the fingerboard. So it's removed off the fingerboard instead of soaked into the fingerboard by using a solution. And I'll start by getting very, very close to the to the frets. I'll take as much time as I need to remove as much of that as possible before I do the next step. This guitar is propped up on one of these really handy Planet Waves called headstands, which I carry, and they're very, very useful. I've used them all the time for restringing. Then I come back and I get the other side of each fret, because that filth gets buried down into the wood and can rot, damage the wood. Oops. I'll go down the center. Make sure all of that is removed before I finish the cleaning process. See the result. This is impregnated with all the filth. This gets discarded. Now, if you're not cleaning your guitar in this way regularly, upon every string change, you'll see those digs, especially in the first 3 frets. That can be fixed, but that's a whole other process. We're going to leave those in there today. The next step is we're going to take a clean cloth, and I have a solution here. This is made out of lemon oil with a few drops of linseed, and I will apply that to the wood. The lemon oil is a solvent, a very mild solvent that will break down. Oh, we'll have to dust the rest of that off of the guitar. That will break down the rest of the filth, and as you can see, there's plenty of it still on the guitar. And the linseed oil will feed the wood and restore the resins that are in the wood. As you can see, there's still a lot of dirt. So we'll use different parts of the cloth and continue. Now, while this cloth, I'll use a new part of the cloth, and I'll go ahead and clean the machine head, because a lot of dirt gets under the strings there also, and we need to clean that off. I'll also clean right under the bridge, and with a little bit of the solvent left, I'll go ahead and clean the bridge and restore that wood on the bridge. Okay, you can see. Then I'll take a soft cloth, just go ahead, remove any excess oil. So now the fingerboard is clean and restored. Okay, this customer wants some Dario EJ26 custom lights upon my recommendation. This is a very nice, moderately light gauge string package. This way I have to open the package, of course, without hitting the strings with a knife, thus nicking them. So they come packaged like this, in pairs. So we start with the highest string. Now we put the the strings in so that the ball is going along the grain of the wood. That way, when it will miss the end of that pin and get placed against the plate where it belongs. And that will reduce the tendency for the pin to pull up while you're tightening the string. So we get all the pins in place. The last two strings. These are color coded. Instead of memorizing the color code, I just look at the thickness of the string and go from thick to thin. Sometimes I'll reach in there and make sure that the string balls are up against the plate, the back plate. The low string will get pulled over the pegboard. Pulled over the peg one time and then pulled through the hole. This will get one wind. Well, we'll give it 1.5 wind. We'll give it more winds as the strings get thinner. You want to put several winds on these strings towards the back so that the string angle coming off of the nut will be lower. The lower that string angle, the better your guitar is going to sound, because you want at least a 10-degree string angle coming off of that nut. And that's the reason why you put several winds. The winds come out the bottom of the machine head post. So eventually, when you're done, those winds will go down towards the peg head. Get those 3 or 4 winds. When you put the string through the hole, it has to go on top of all the winds. To lock those winds in. Now this is the high E, which is very thin, and I give that several winds, 4 winds, and then I will put it through the top of the pin, and then I'll come through and do it again to lock that in. So because this is the only string on a guitar that I've noticed might tend to slip. Okay, so now we have all the strings on there. And before I do anything else, I will put some tension on it. I will always pluck a string as I'm tensioning it so that I don't tighten it too much. I'll get it slight up to pitch. And I will get my trusty tuning fork, find an A. All those pegs are down, seated. Get it all up to pitch. And now it's there, so this won't be pulling anymore. And I will just simply snip the ends off close to the peg, because you can do that once it's under tension. It won't slide out. Alright, soft cloths. top a little bit, just take the little fingerprints off, whatnot. Make sure everything is nice and clean, and there you go. A freshly restrung guitar. These strings will last a lot longer because the fingerboard has been cleaned. The fingerboard will last a lot longer because there's not impregnated filth in there. I have done a good work. There you go. Notice the smiley on that one. That's cute. Thanks for watching.